All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 231 of Bright Beginning Toastmasters Club. I'm Anshul Mishra and I'm going to be the Sergeant at Arms for the club today. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. To ensure this, please follow certain ground rules. Please ensure that all the cell phones are on silent or switched off mode. You have 10 seconds to check. Please speak responsibly about religion, sex, or politics in your speeches. Use the feature of raising a hand, applause, and thumbs up when needed. Don't use Zoom messaging in between the speeches unless it's required. Until not required, please put yourself on mute during the meeting. If you're playing the role, no need to check whether you're audible or not. One of us will let you know if your sound is coming or breaking. Please make sure that all the role players have the role name as prefix to and real name as suffix to username of the meeting. For example, I have put Anshuman underscore tmod, so request the others also to put their identity over Zoom, whoever has joined online. And last, now, I'd like to hand over the stage to someone who has been the anchor of the club since forever now and has been holding the fort physically and non physically, I guess. Um, so, today our plans were different. We were thinking of having a contest, but that plan has changed. But nevertheless, that gives us more time to practice our public speaking skills. And I'd like to hand over the stage to Toastmaster Mayank to take forward the PO address for today morning. Over to you, Toastmaster Mayank.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anshuman, and a very good morning to each one of you present in today's meeting. I think the six of us will make it a rocking meeting, and hoping soon we have more people dropping in. In today's meeting, what's so special about today? Okay, forget the meeting. Let's talk about what's special today. So, after the yesterday's maniac Black Friday sale, where everybody was pushing in things onto people, um, have you ever been to a Kumbh Mela? No, very nice. Have you ever been to a mela which is there in say Leisure Valley or those kind of parks where you have people stuffed in, or experience Delhi Metro at the peak business hours? That was the status of Zara, H&M, and all other shops in at Ambience Mall yesterday. It was just full of people, and you know what people did? The shopaholics, they dropped their kids early into the school, and at 10 o'clock they went to the mall, and then from there they had to call up their husband saying, I'm still at the beginning counter, can you please go and pick up the child? Because they just bought, and then there were queues at line. And hence today, Saturday, is celebrated as a no buy day. Why? Because all the best deals are gone, the stocks are gone, and hence today you don't buy anything. I also like that concept where people say, if you buy this, you save 20%. And I say, if I don't buy, I save 100%. All right. So that's today's meeting. And in today's meeting, we have a guest from a Toastmaster joining in from Bechtel called the Beat Toastmasters Club, and she'll be delivering a speech. So before we get started, we know we all know each other, but we like to hear from Toastmaster Ananya on how long has she been part of the Toastmasters fraternity, and what is she expecting from today's meeting.
Thank you so much, Mayank. Hello, everybody. My name is Ananya Singh. I have been with Toastmasters for the past 6 months now, I would say. So, since my internship at Bechtel, even before I had a job, I was part of the Toastmasters Club. Um, so more about me. I like to swim. I also like to play badminton, and Toastmasters has been a real life changer in my life, because I am a hopeless introvert, and speaking in front of people was something that I really dreaded. But Prabhat Jain sir, who sat beside me um, in on the floor, he really encouraged me. He told me, you know, you have great ideas, but if you don't have the ability to tell these ideas to somebody, nobody would ever know that you're a smart person. So I went as a guest for the for a Toastmasters meeting, and then I was really scared because everybody was, so confident. And then I went for the second one, and that is when I decided that, you know what, I need to be a part of this club, not just to be a good speaker or be more confident, but just to find time for myself, because that is what the club does for me. Every week, I have to sit down for an hour or two and jot down things about my life for the speech. And, that's like a self care moment. So, yeah, and really excited to be a part of today's meeting. And thank you for having me.
Great, and thank you so much, Toastmaster Ananya. And uh, we really believe that your true leaders not only just grow themselves but help the team lift up. And I think Toastmaster Prabhat is really demonstrating that at Bechtel. I happened to be the area director for that club last year, so I have had interactions with both Prabhat and Yamini and Ashish. And it was a call from Ashish last night. I was like, hey, boss, how come you remembering me at this time at 9 o'clock? Like, somebody wants to give a level two speech at a different club. So I said, all right, no worries. We're happy to host her. And that's the spirit of Toastmasters, willing to help a lending hand at the short notices where possible. Well, that can be a new tagline. I should recommend to the Toastmasters CEO next time. All right, so I would like to pass on the stage now to Toastmaster Anshuman. He's been the early members of the Toastmasters Club of Bright Beginning Toastmaster Club, having worked with Toastmaster Gaurav Chaudhary and being part of the early program quality management team. And now this year, he's handling the awards and the rewards program of District 41. So he's going to make sure that the club is not losing on any award that it can grab. Yeah, we need to be on the top of charts this year when the club goes at oration of 2025. With that smiling face, I'd like to hand over the stage now to Toastmaster Anshuman. So over to you.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Mayank. I'm sure if the club wins awards, it'll be due to the hard work and effort all of us have put in to deliver what we could deliver. And talking about delivery, my year and actually last 2 years, one of the biggest mind space occupant topic has been interior decoration. For some reason, I have realized that adulthood might be involved in purchasing home for myself or others and then decorating it. I think that's the hobby most of the adults do seem to have. I know that Tosma Mayank recently got his home renovated. Then I know Tosma Vidhu is off late busy renovating her home. I am not privy to the home renovation of all you other folks, but I'm sure we have been involved in interior styling or interior decorating our homes of late. So I thought if that looks to be the favorite adult activity, why not discuss that today morning a bit? First of all, when we shifted here in Noida around pre-COVID time, I honestly did not have any idea about interior decoration. So when we decided to buy a rented apartment, it did not feel that we had purchased it. So we thought what to do differently to ensure to make have the feeling of home ownership, right? So we thought let's go for interior decoration. And the first thing you do for any new activity you're starting, you do a Google search. So we did a Google search, and you had the home lane and the live space and XYZ of the world existing. We did not know the concept of a contractor or XYZ. which existed in the society. So we just went to the home lane spaces, live space spaces. Their sales folks are quite good. They have home lane happened to convince us that we should go with them. It took 1.5 months to design what we were planning to do in on 3D, and then it took around 2 months to execute what we were trying to do. So it occupied majority of the time that I and my wife had at that point of time. The result led to definitely a beautiful home, something we could call of our own. At the same time, over now the next 2 years, we realized that we could have done that with half the money, um, and say 30% lesser time, which I am now executing for my parents in parallel, where I just visit the site once in a week and get things done efficiently. I'll share the anecdotes how and why of it, and maybe I love to hear. But maybe let's start with hearing Toastmaster Mayank. What have been your top one or two highlights of when you got your basement and your home renovated? What was your top of mind learning?
So, my top learning is that the interior designers are not designers. They are not creative. All of these live space and home lanes you're talking about, you have to think through what is it that you need, what is your requirement. You tell them, you design it for them, and they're just going to put it there beautifully and do it. And if you encounter a interior designer whom you say, okay, I want to have this and this and this, and if they don't want to apply their mind, they'll stop responding to your calls and stuff. So I think you have to think of how and what you want to be done and get it done accordingly. If you leave it on the contractors, they are going to maximize their gains and not your gain.
Right. More true words have not been spoken. Completely agree, Toastmaster Mayank. And definitely, I think all of us have our individual learnings when we pursue this path of building a beautiful home. We'll talk more about it. But for now, an important, a crucial part of any meeting is getting feedback of how we perform the roles today. And to spearhead that role, we have Toastmaster Mayank. Is it you who's going to be the
Santosh is a G.
Okay, Toastmaster Ashutosh, who's going to be the G for today morning. So I'd like to hand over stage to Toastmaster Ashutosh to introduce the evaluation rules for today morning. Over to you, Toastmaster Ashutosh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. So, as it is said, evaluation and feedback is the breakfast of champions. So, let's have our dose of breakfast today morning, and I'll try to give my share of justice to the role of general evaluator to evaluate the overall conduct of the meeting, including the role players. And with me, I have a support of tag team. It is Timer, Aha Counter, and Grammarian. So Timer is played by Toastmaster Anshuman. He is a multi-talented, I think the most multi-talented and versatile member of this club, member and of this club, and also the counter is played by my colleague Toastmaster Mank. And the grammarian, I will try to make a justice to the grammarian role along with the role of those general evaluator. Speech evaluation also is to will be done uh, by Toastmaster. I'm sorry, I did not have the details of the
Disha.
speech development. Yeah, Toastmaster Nisha, and then
Disha.
Disha. Okay, sorry. And I will get back to with a report at the during the last phase of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Right, I think we know the roles so much by heart that we're not going to introduce the individual roles. But that's a good change. Why not? I think most of us present in this room are familiar with what the GU roles are. That makes things faster. So, not wasting time a bit, I'd like to now move forward to the speech section. And we have an external speaker today, Toastmaster Ananya. But before I invite her to the stage, I'd like to invite her speech evaluator, Toastmaster Disha, to read out the speech objectives and share the title of the speech if that's available with her.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. So, Toastmaster Ananya, she has begun her level 2 journey at her Millennial Club and she is giving her L2 S1 today. The purpose of the project is to develop a collection of humorous stories and present the speech that includes humor. And now I would like to invite Toastmaster Ananya to present her speech, My Trip to Rishikesh. Toastmaster Ananya, My Trip to Rishikesh. Over to you.
Thank you so much. So, before I begin talking about my trip to Rishikesh, which was a roller coaster of emotions, memories, and mishaps, I have to rewind 2 3 days back when me and two of my friends decided to go to Rishikesh. As soon as we opened Red Bus, she exclaimed, "Oh my god, this trip is meant to be because there are only 3 seats left in some bus." We were so excited, we just told her, you know what, just book it. We don't even care what bus you're booking. So she did that. Big mistake. When we arrived at Kashmiri Gate bus stop on Friday, we were seeing all these luxury buses around, and we were like, oh wow, she must have booked a really good bus. And then suddenly we heard this earth shattering screech, and she goes, oh, that's a bus. And the two of us turned around, and it was a government bus, all broken with missing windows and seats that were harder than medieval torture devices. Okay, so a bus stopped and we started moving towards it. But before we could board the bus, a huge crowd of people just ran towards it and took our pre booked seats. And we were so shocked. What is going on? But then the bus conductor, our hero for the hour, went around and told the ticketless people to get off, and we were able to board the bus. Our bus seat numbers were 50, 51, and 52. We were thinking, oh wow, at least we have seats in the middle or at the back so that we won't have to hear the horn all the time. We were so wrong. These seats were right in front, beside the bus driver. The horn was so loud it could wake the dead. And we were supposed to arrive in Rishikesh at 4 in the morning, and we had decided we were going to sleep on the bus, but that was absolutely impossible because every 5 seconds he was going, "Bah, bah." It was an insane experience. Well, when we arrived in Haridwar at 4 in the morning, more than the cold, it was extremely cold to begin with, and we were wearing light sweaters, and we were like, oh, we are completely, ready to face the cold. But no, what surprised us more than the cold was the wind blowing. We were surprised. In Gurgaon, that is not an experience that you have every day, the wind blowing in your face and not having some kind of smell to it. It was pure and clean. In Gurgaon, the only wind that we feel is if a speeding car zooms past you. And that is when you're like, and I stood there in the cold wind wondering, oh, that is what wind is supposed to feel like. Since this was an unplanned trip, we did not have a hotel booked. And to make things worse, the previous day had been Dev Purnima. So every single hotel was booked. As we roamed the streets, teeth chattering and our hopes dwindling, we found this decent looking dharmshala for 20 rupees a room. And but we did not care because at this point, luxury was just a warm place to sit. We stayed there for about 3 hours, and then we went to Har Ki Pauri. When I took a dip in the Ganga, the water was colder than my crush's replies to my text. But as soon as I stepped in the river, it just felt extraordinary. It was an out of the world experience. The spirituality in the place was just magical. After this soul stirring experience, we decided to do something adventurous, go for rafting, which in hindsight was not a very good idea because that meant we were going to be in the water from 9 in the morning till 6 in the evening in the cold with just 1 hour of us being, in dry clothes. But anyway, great experience. When we started with the rafting, it was fine. We were all, in our dry clothes, and it was just all the instruction had been given to us. I'm so sorry. Instructions had been given to us. We were fine. And then we entered this insane rapid, and our guide told us to just jump in the water. I was like, are you insane? This is a rapid. This is not even still water. Um, so I looked at my friend, who I was sure was not going to jump in, and I told her, Pratishtha, you know what? Just jump. I was completely sure that she would chicken out. And on the third time of me encouraging her, she just jumped in. And I was so surprised. What? Now I also have to jump in because my entire experience was going to be her not jumping in and then me telling her, you, I did not jump because you did not jump. So I jumped in the water and I'm glad I did. The next day, we went to Lakshman Jhula, where I indulged my inner child, um, by buying some cotton candy. And as soon as I was about to take my first bite, I made the mistake of locking eyes with a monkey. And in a flash, he snatched my cotton candy and disappeared. And with that, my childhood dreams dissolved faster than sugar in water. Our final destination was going to be Nilkant Mahadev. However, our guide told us that he was not going to go there that day because he did not feel like it. And we were in shock. Today is Sunday morning. We are supposed to leave um, on Monday in the afternoon. And the entire reason why Vanshika, one of my friends, I can't see the timer flags. I don't know how much time I have left.
It's still to be green. I don't know if the cards are working fine. That's a digital timer. You'll get to know.
Okay, I'll get to know. Okay.
You're
So,
within time. Don't worry.
okay. Right, where was I? So he told us that he was not going to go there, and we were in shock. We have paid you, and you told us that you were going to take us to Nilkant Mahadev, and the entire reason Vanshika had agreed to come on this trip was because she wanted to go there. So anyway, he told us, what time is your bus? So he said it's at 1:30 in the afternoon tomorrow. And he said, okay, fine, I'll take you at 5 in the morning and you'll be back by 10. 1 hour, you'll have to go back to Haridwar and then you can see from there. And we were like, oh, wow, that great, great. Our trip is supposed to go how you want us to travel. So the next morning, we did not wake up at 5, woke up at 6 in the morning, just quickly had breakfast, got ready, and left at 7. So at this point, we were absolutely sure that not going to board our buses and we'll have one more day of the trip. Um, so we had hired scooties. So we took our scooty and started our 1 hour ride uphill to Nilkant Mahadev. Now, there is just something about driving a scooty in the mountains. It's just it's like this is why the scooty was invented, to ride it in the mountains when fresh air is hitting your face and you have music blasting loudly, and the people are really friendly, and and the highlight was stopping for Maggie and chai for 2 entire days. Most of our meals was Maggie and chai, and there is just something about Maggie in the mountains that just hits the spot. So we arrived at Nilkant Mahadev, beautiful temple. The aura was just so profound. I was in absolute awe. This beautiful small temple with a waterfall next to it, and really old houses with beautiful architecture depicting different phases of Lord Shiva's life. It was a beautiful experience. And while I was writing this speech, I had goosebumps when I was writing about this part. And that is the only shivling that I've seen which is not like circular from the top. It has a very different shape and it's very tiny. So what Neil Kant, the history is that when Lord Shiva drank poison and his cunt, that is the Adam's apple, turned blue, that is the part that he buried there for his followers to be able to worship him. So yeah, that was the end of our trip, the last part, and it was a great experience. Loved it, and I highly encourage all of you to go for unplanned trips because it's much cheaper. This 2 day trip cost us just 2,000. We were traveling in like 10 and 20 rupees everywhere. So yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Request us to take 1 minute to share feedback with Toastmaster Ananya in private chat. And meanwhile, fantastic speech, Toastmaster Ananya. Lot of good metaphors and similes that you've consciously used. So, how did you come up with them? Was it like, do you write in metaphors and similes, or did you consciously take the effort to do that?
Uh, I that is something that I discovered. I like, funny comparisons between things. Like, so yeah, that is just something that I've discovered about myself. I like using metaphors and similes a lot because that just adds a different flavor to the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest learning for me from you. Besides the humor and the anecdotes that you shared. So, thank you for sharing the speech with all of us today morning. That also reminds me of my government bus journey to Jaipur once with my friend, which was again spontaneous, unplanned, and unfortunate actually, because a lot of bad smells, and we were trying to just cover our mouths so that we could not feel the bad smell that were around us, but somehow we landed there. That was, I think, my only government bus journey. But I could imagine what you and your friends would have gone through with what you shared today morning. I hope all of us have shared or have intended to share feedback with Usman and Ananya. Now we'll move forward to the next section where we'll practice our spontaneous speaking, much like the spontaneous trips that we usually have. And to take that forward, we have Toastmaster Harsh, who's going to share different Toastmaster topics for us to practice. And the timing for it is going to be 1 to 2 minutes. All right, over to you, Toastmaster Harsh, to make us practice spontaneous public speaking.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. Uh, Good morning, everyone. I'll be the table topic master for today. And since our theme of the day is home decor, I'll revolve my topics around home and decor. Uh, to start with, I'll start with Toastmaster Disha. Um, Topic for you is, what does home mean to you? Toastmaster Disha, what does home mean to you?
Thank you, Toastmaster Harsh. Home is everything to me, indeed. And I was so interested in today's theme because I am also revolving entirely around the home decoration part or home cleaning part or taking care of the house all the time. I do not have an experience of renovating a home, but I do have an experience of finding out the houses in Gurgaon, which is very tough. Like we had to change the houses in last 5 years. I changed two houses, and the journey remains very difficult. There are homes, independent houses available, but then we are always interested in having a home into a flat which is having a proper security, generator, and a well-maintained society. So our first home that was in Sector 65 near World Mark. was a very beautiful one, and I used to take care of it like anything. And I used to always put in good curtains, nice bed sheets, some good furniture, and most importantly, the beautiful plants. I love having plants at home. Though we always stayed on first floors or let's say second floors, but then always managed to keep some plants in the balcony. So I ensured that we have some good plants. And one of the most required thing for me when we shifted from our first house to second house was to have a small puja room, which we never had in the earlier one. So that also accounted uh, somewhere while having the home search. So yeah, home is everything to me, and I like to keep it beautiful. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Disha. That was a really beautiful speech. Uh, uh, Next topic is for Toastmaster Mayang, and what uh, the topic is what is your favorite space in your home? Uh, Toastmaster Mayang, what is the favorite space in your home?
Home is a complete word in itself. Breaking it into parts is our misfortune that we do by saying that this is my parents' room, this is my room, this is my son's room, this is my dining room and drawing room. I think the home has to be in entirety. And my favorite part is being at home with my family and dear ones around. I would hate the idea of saying that my favorite place is my bedroom because that means I'm always sitting on the bed, lying, watching television, and not doing anything. Kitchen is not anybody's favorite place ever. It is an obligation that people have to do, right? Of course, my mother loves making food, but is it her favorite place? No. A drawing room is a more formal place, uh, where you have sofas, which are not very comfortable for whole day spending. But yeah, ideal place to be there for an hour or two, relax or chit chat with your friends and family members. And I really enjoy any place in the house where I have somebody with whom I can have a peaceful conversation or a nice time, be it a recliner in my parents' room or sitting with them, or even sitting on the kitchen slab and just chatting and having a nice gala time. I mean, imagine that you are in a house and you have no one to talk to. Do you call it a home or you call it a house? I think we will call it as a house because there's nobody there. The family is not there. Nobody's there. I mean, which makes it that warmth and special. Of course, you can put artifacts around, right? You may put in new curtains or a nice sofa, but it's the company that matters that makes a house a home. And for me, home is something which is my favorite place to be with everyone. Thank you so much, and back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mayank. I thought you would say basement is your favorite place because all meetings happen there, but nonetheless. Uh, Next topic to Toastmaster Anshuman. If you had to design a home based on an ancient monument, what would it be and why? Thank you. Toastmaster Anshuman, if you had to design if you had to design your home based on an ancient monument, what would it be and why?
Ancient monuments bring about a lot of memories for a lot of us, and most of it we have seen during our travel time, that we have gone out with the family, friends within the city, outside the city. And the reminder that ancient monuments provide us is, first of all, the thoughtfulness behind building those monuments. Each detail is filled with so much love, so much passion, so much intricacy, which is rare to find nowadays of fast lifestyle. Even a single flower embedded on Taj Mahal or Humayun's tomb will be so beautiful to just observe, stand there, and see that if I have to plan and put it in my home, that itself may take a month, and we do not have 2 months or so many laborers to help us out with the beautification. However, if I have to build my home inspired by the ancient monuments, it won't be one, but it'll be inspired by multiple cultures and monuments across the globe, whatever appeals to me. Because if I just build it on Taj Mahal, which folks apparently have, they have modified their home to look like Taj Mahal in India in a lot of cities. Or even Microsoft Noida building is inspired inside by Taj Mahal. They have modeled it all on Taj Mahal. So that is a default monument that comes to mind. But I'll try and pick it up from India's Mughal culture, the British culture, or European styles of different countries, or American styles, or Japanese styles. But I'll just go for whatever elements of each culture and theme that appeals to me. All subject to budget, laborers, practicality, availability of raw materials. Now, I think since I'm in the interior decoration zone, I get into the details already. So to look at the beauty of outside is difficult for me. But definitely, I think that's an inspiring topic for me to reflect upon at a later stage. Toastmaster Harsh, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. Um, Next topic is for Toastmaster Ashutosh. Are you there? Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Toastmaster Ashutosh, what's the first thing you notice when you enter someone's house? What's the first thing you notice when you enter someone's house, Toastmaster Ashutosh?
I think the as it said, the first impression is the last impression. And first impression about anybody, if you meet a person first time or go to a place first time, for that matter, it will be an, somebody's your friends or peers house, or any new tourist location or any place, exotic place. You create a impression at the first moment itself, and that is likely to be making a perception of all the thought process around that person, that place, uh, considering that first instance of thought. So for me, when I go to the place, I have to figure out of course, the when we visit is the most of the times the living room, or the drawing room as we call it, is the place which is being um, uh, uh, being called upon for hosting and people. So I try to look upon the walls, try to look upon the sitting arrangements, and try to make an opinion about the person. About if the wall there is a too much of decoration of so very fancy stuff, very colorful things. I try to figure out this person is very vibrant, and then try to shows having show kind of show what he has a very appealing lifestyle. And there are certain people who are very subtle. Some books are there, and then very toned down colors, very lights which are comforting for the environment. These people are very clear how about their thought process. So I try to make impression about the people who live in the house based on the drawing room area. And then the first, uh, other than this first impression, I also normally happen to visit the washrooms, having being there for 2 hours or so, more than an hour. So you seeing the washroom, I definitely make a very lasting and very clear impression. If the washrooms are clean and there is no water, the people are very sorted out. in their lives, and then there is a messy washroom. So I definitely figure out that there's something that need to be a lot of clutter in the person's life and person's home, put together. So that's it from my side.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashutosh. Rightly said, washroom tells a lot about the people that live in the house. Uh, thank you. Okay. Next topic is for Toastmaster Ananya. Toastmaster Ananya, if you could have any view from your room's window, what would it be? If you could have any view from your room's window, what would it be, Toastmaster Ananya?
If I could have any view from the window of my room, I think it would be a mountain with a small river flowing, and maybe a little patchy pathway road that leads up into the mountain where I can trek. So, inspired by my recent trip to Rishikesh. So, I've been living in Gurgaon for about 8 months now. And when you've been living such a fast paced life where there are 100 things that you can do every weekend, because it's a big city with a lot of, you know, places that you can go and adventures that can happen, you tend to forget what a slow life feels like. And when I visited Rishikesh, and for 2 or 3 hours, we were just sitting by the river with nothing to do. On the very first day, all of us were a little restless because you usually have meetings, or you're thinking about what next day will look like, or you always have something on your mind. And we were just sitting there with nothing on our minds, just cold water beneath our feet and birds chirping. So I think that is the view that I would like, and a small path to just travel up the mountain and get a view of everything around me, and maybe a badminton court. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ananya. Uh, all right, that's it for the table topics. I hand it over back to you, Toastmaster Anshuman.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Hertz, for those thoughtful topics. Definitely, I think it made us all reflect upon home, the idea of home, decoration, outside views, and we leave richer than we when we started. Coming to the core topic itself, I learned a lot of efficient practices with being involved in almost 4 to 5 homes right now of my friends' family, now my own parents' homes. The first aspect of any interior designing is the design itself, at how the room should look like, how the living room should look like, and for Toastmaster Ashutosh to visit, how should the washroom look like? Because he'll judge you badly if your washroom is bad, that you are not a sorted person, you are destroyed in life, all of that. So, how to ensure that washroom looks great so that Toastmaster Ashutosh can appreciate your home. So my efficient learning. So my slowest learning was, I think, all of the slowest learnings from Homelane. So Homelane took 1.5 months just to do a 3D design. Took laser measurements. Then they had AutoCAD, and they built those designs. We were new to the entire thing, right? So we went ahead with whatever they were doing, designing where the cupboard should be, where the light should be. Now, in the most efficient aspect, we first of all, the most important aspect remains hiring the right contractor. And for that, I went by my intuition. We did try to hire first contractor here. We saw on YouTube channel, so they had amazing designs. They were showing around the home. But when we tried to contact them, they were not that professional. So at their designated time, they're not turning up. They're not responding to the calls positively. So my intuition said that they're doing so much problem right now. Later, definitely there'll be 100 times more problems. So let's not go with them. So, like my father and I took a decision not to go ahead with them. My father called the society president, AOAO president, and he recommended a contractor, which was, I think, the best decision we took. Because that contractor had already done 500 to 600 flats within the society, and for the designing, then my job was quite easy. I just said to him, uh, "What all have you done before? Can you show me the photographs?" And he showed me the photographs. I said, "Do this, do this, do this," and my job was done because they've already done it before, right? So there's nothing new for me to tell them that if I have to design a kitchen, put a pantry there, do this, do that, and now I have to just go there once a week, observe if they're doing the right thing. And that for me is the fastest way to get things done. That if somebody has done something before, they know how to do it, and it looks pretty to you on picture, your life is sorted. Then you have to just do your furniture shopping and curtain shopping and electronic shopping if you'd like to. The middle path was that you, for I think whoever been into interior decoration, is the app called Pinterest. I think Pinterest is the favorite app of anyone interior styling or decorating. And that is difficult for Indian carpenters because most of the Pinterest content is Western, and Indian carpenters do not understand what say designed palmet looks like, or say the lighting layers look like, or whatever the intricacies the West has already mastered. India is still evolving in that phase. So either you can pick up battles that I do want this and you have to get it done, then it's a battle between the carpenter, contractor, and you, if it can be done or not be done. Or it can be like you give it up and uh, think of pursuing your dreams later when you switch homes, like Disha has been, to explore new ideas in your new home. So, so I think three paths. One is the detailed path where you're working with Homeline or Live Space of the World who work on scale. So ideally, my feedback to them will be, since you're working on so many properties already, you should have reference images that what you've worked on, so that we can pick and choose that this you've done in another home, let's copy paste it. I think that'll be the most efficient, because they start from basic design where a small light should be, and that takes a week. So that's a lot of, I think, for me, a time wastage now in the hindsight when I realize. Plus, the costing is quite high with almost 30 to 40% commission that they take. To the middle path where you're looking at Pinterest and working with a contractor and you're having a heated battle, or the last one where you get images from contractor and just pick and choose and get it done because that contractor has already done that work before. um, and I'll pause if any one of you has any hacks of interior styling or decoration. So Toastmaster Mayang, definitely.
Thank you so much. So I think Toastmaster Anshuman, there's another way of how you can get an interior design done is that find individual boutique contractors, right? Or somebody who's been associated with you or your family who've done a good job. And you tell them that this is something that I'm looking at, and they do a fantastic job in helping you design. For example, if you would have seen my son's room, so it's been done by interior architect for me who's been engaged with us for the past 20-25 years, who done, a couple of sofas for us, etc. And this time I said, all right, Agar, I want to do this. And my current room is pretty shabby. And, there's a beam coming in. I need a L-shaped wardrobe or something. And he said, no, don't go for L-shape. It's not going to solve your purpose. It's always a problem. Take a slanting door and make a huge space, and you'll get fantastic space. I mean, that space which was always getting wasted, with his slight innovation, he cracked it and solved the problem. And then he gets such beautiful, amazing lights because they work in fantastic homes. They do projects at pretty large societies like Camellias, etc. So they know the best of the guys, best quality work, and there their guy will come take measurements and will get the product ready in all sizes, shapes, and just do the fitment in 2 days and go. So, if you find those kind of guys, they are amazing because it's like that traditional jeweler of your neighborhood, right? who's been serving your family since 1970, 1951, right? Because they know your taste, your demand, your price point, what is acceptable to you and what is not acceptable to you, right? So they are able to really get into your head and give you something which is like, oh wow, this is something not even imagined. Like we said, yeah, gray and yellow is nice, and he said, no, 90% of your room should be gray. Only some highlights should be in yellow, right? And then we came up with a color coding and said, can we do this? And he said, no, just slightly modify, and this is great. So that's how I got those slanting lines on my son's room. And you'll also have to do a lot of visualization as well. For example, take a PowerPoint by yourself, create the wall size, measure the wall size, create a rectangle, and then say, all right, what if I put two color combinations? Do I need to add a white stripe? How big that white stripe is to be there? So you will have to do that effort and then tell the contractor how can they do it better, because they're not going to put their mind and ideas onto everything. You'll have to come up and make them put their mind there.
True.
That's
Definitely, Toastmasters, that's a good insight. Having like a family doctor, like a family
yeah.
contractor, carpenter. I think that's, I don't know how many families that runs having a family contractor. Um, but yeah, like I think like nothing better than experience. If somebody has great experience, he can come up with a lot of insights. And one of the aspects is that interior, say initial interiors are like just the raw part of it. Then the styling part, I think I realize that is much bigger, plays a much bigger role than the raw interior decoration, and that's quite hard, at least for me. That way, how many plants should be there in the room, or what is the color combination of the cushions, or maybe the creative folks, creative types have much more expertise in that. But any one of you has any
Toast,
insights into how interior style the room?
Toastmaster Disha is a
To stylist. Because
graduate.
if you have any insights into how you style the room, right? So what's your favorite, like color combination, plants, or lighting, or
So
greenery?
I am not a particular stylist as far as home is concerned, maybe home decorator. But then, like as I told, the earlier house that we were here in Gurgaon Sector 65 MR, we had we had hall and three bedrooms and a common area, a study room, and a kitchen. So hall I had kept very contemporary. So I had put our TV on one of the tables that we had bought from Sikandarpur. And that table, I told him, don't color it, just varnish the wood, and it would look beautiful. And it really turned out beautiful. So the house walls, they were little off-white. So I generally prefer a house which has off-white or little white side um, walls, which make everything that comes in look beautiful. So, and because we have stayed in rented house, so we can't do much about the wall colorings. So I mean, I prefer having a wall which is little on the whiter side. So as I said, that the hall I had kept contemporary. I had put sofa, a table with a table mat, and little minimalistic kind of decorations, a bit here and there. I had put one cycle shaped planter there, and two sides I had put small plants, and in between I had put an erica palm. So it looked really beautiful. And it this hall had a long balcony adjusted to it. So there I had put lot of plants along with a chair, and along with two chairs and a table, very dark brown colored. So half of the balcony was full of plants and half was there to sit and enjoy the winters whenever we could, because we had some really wintry sun coming in. And our bedroom was again a little bit contemporary. The bed shade, by chance, was in the shade of the cupboards, so it matched well. Again, I keep it very minimalistic. I always keep my bed sheets and curtains solids. I don't put in prints. So that's how the bedroom was. The one of the guest rooms I had kept it traditional Rajasthani. So I had put all the yellow and reds and greens and those printed bed sheet with traditional motifs on it, plus those puppets that come in. So I had hanged those and a couple of frames, photo frames, which had ladies with pots of waters on their head. So that was completely traditional. And the other guest room was, again, it wasn't much touched upon. I had a few wall hangings and all, and a small bed over there. And kitchen was as such well furnished, so I didn't have to do anything. But yeah, to keep everything clean is the motive. So that's how I try to decorate here in the new house. Again, I do have few things, but then not that much. So I miss that home a lot. Thank you.
That's a typical example of I don't know how to do this, and then go on to explain in intricacies what contemporary Rajasthani color or balcony, all of this look like. Great attempt at being humble to Smasher Disha, but definitely we can see how fondly you remember decorating that space. It's definitely fun. It keeps you engaged. It takes almost an year if you're doing the end-to-end process. It's a good way to keep your adulthood going busy. You switch homes every 3 years, take time renovating, learn new ideas, then implement styling, decorating, or even purchasing is a different, interesting, fun topic for another day of how Indian registries and dealers and brokers work. But we'll keep that for another day. For today, let's see how we performed our individual roles. I'll hand over the stage to Toastmaster Ashutosh to take forward the G proceedings. And we also have Toastmaster Ved joining. Hi, Toastmaster Ved. Too soon. I don't know if he's available.
Yeah, hi Anshuman. Yeah, I'm there.
Great. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Like, over to you, Toastmaster Ashutosh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman. So I think I was listening passionately, trying to understand the interior decorator nitty-gritties and the technical stuff. It's very interesting, and at times it gets very difficult to manage these kind of projects. When you start, you think it is easier, but then during the course of the journey, you realize, oh, this is going very long. And then my personal experience, I have seen you end up a point that they should finish somehow. That also a situation arises. But of course, this has two sides of the coin. So, considering the meeting, the last phase, the evaluation, the most important part. Before starting on the technical evaluation, I would like to invite Toastmaster Disha again to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Nanya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashutosh. So since we are nearing the ISC, I have evaluated Toastmaster Ananya's speech in the way a speech is evaluated during ISC according to the ISC criteria. So I would first like to tell what are the three major criteria. So content plays 50% part, delivery plays 30% part, and language plays 20% part. So let's start with the content. So Ananya's speech was quite well structured. It had opening, body, and conclusion. She started with how they initiated their journey, then what all activities they did during the journey, and a conclusion of what a beautiful trip it was for her. She had real life experiences uh, being shared through this particular speech. So, this was the first part of content. The second is effectiveness. The reception of speech in terms of purpose and attention to me was really well captured. She had a very effective speech delivered. The third part is speech volume. So the speech value, sorry. Her speech was quite meaningful. It went us through her journey of how she experienced this beautiful place, Rishikesh, with a lot of ups and downs, but then still they enjoyed. So it had the originality, which is really important. And she had again her personal life experience delivered through this particular speech. Now, as far as delivery is concerned, the physical presentation and gestures, expressions, body positioning was very well supported. Uh, they supported the speech emotions quite good. One of the scope of improvement is, since we are online, it's difficult to have eye contact being measured very appropriately, but you can go through the video and check that many a times your eyes were not focused on camera. They were going a little bit here and there. So that can be an area of improvement. Her voice carried a message. She had pitch modulations, like varied emotions had varied pitch and rate, which was great. She had a variety in her volume as well as speed. Um, she delivered the speech with a lot of enthusiasm, assurance, and it captured the interest of the audience. And she had that confidence in the reaction of the audience. She was there while she was speaking and capturing the audience attention also. As far as language is concerned, she had a really good, appropriate choice of words, clear understanding of her thoughts. Uh, Language was very properly used, grammar was very correctly used. So, overall, I would say when she started her speech, the bus experience and the horn honking, which she kind of related with, it could wake the dead up. So that was a really capturing. And then how the cotton candy was snatched by the monkey was so disturbing for her. And it reminded of her childhood, was also a very humorous experience. Driver was not interested in going to Neelkant Mahadev, which they really wanted to explore. That was the only thing they were looking forward to. So these were really interesting and humorful content. So thanks a lot. And this is from my end. Over to you, Toastmaster Ashutosh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Disha, for that detailed and very, very accurate evaluation. Then moving forward, the technical part of the evaluation. So I would like to invite the toast of the timer role, Toastmaster Anshuman, to give us the perspective of our time usages today.
Yes, Toastmaster Ashutosh. So we all were pretty much on time this morning, starting with Toastmaster Ananya, was the speaker for today morning, was at 6 minutes 13 seconds. Then we had table topics. I'll go in alphabetical order, starting with me. I was at 1 minute 40 seconds. Then we had Toastmaster Ananya, who was at 1 minute 53 seconds. Then we had Toastmaster Disha, who was at 1 minute 42 seconds. Then we have Toastmaster Mayank, who was at 1 minute 58 seconds. Then we had Toastmaster Ashutosh, who was at 1 minute 41 seconds. Um, all right, and for the evaluation, Toastmaster Disha's evaluation lasted for 2 minutes 34 seconds. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Ashutosh.
Thanks, Toastmaster Anshuman. So I invite now Toastmaster Mayank for the AHA counter report.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Ashutosh. Um, as part of the speaker, Toastmaster Anya, I think initially you went pretty smooth, but once you asked for the time card check, after that you started fumbling and there were use of a little bit of and you used thrice, then thrice, so twice, once I and thrice. And one word I think which you were repeating and filling in your sentences was well. The word well, you use it a couple of times, which I think is you are using it as a crutch word to move on to another sentence, but maybe evaluate if you get to hear the recording of this one. As part of table topics, so Disha, you had 3 hours, one so, one I, three ands, and two most. I couldn't make note of my usages. And Toastmaster Anshuman, I think there wasn't any visible or notable counters for you. For Ashutosh, you have to work on two words. One is and These two sounds are very frequent, and also the. And Ananya, in your table topic, I think initially you were quite smooth, but you have and, which is a pretty frequently used word that you're using as a crutch word, and so. Toastmaster Disha, in your evaluation, there wasn't any significant usage of crutch words. Thank you. And with that, I end my our counter report, and back to you, Toastmaster Ashutosh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mank, for that detailed evaluation. So finally coming to the summarizing of the meeting and giving the perspective on how the meeting went, how was what was good, what was not so good. I can say the meeting started almost on time. I think we started around 10:35, which was very much in the threshold limit. We could have been there 5 minutes earlier, but I think that is in control. And there was some, I understand, the last minute changes. So, but we were very prompt. The teams were very prompt to do this. So I was trying to correlate. It's kind of a match in the chasing team. One of is batting. The bowlers are batting, but then they behave like batsmen, and then they try to strive for whatever needs to be done. And then if it is a six needed, they're hitting a six. It's four needed. So all the team players definitely took a very fast turnaround and selected the right spots, and then things move on very well. The meeting theme was very well selected in today's relating to today's lifestyle. So most of us are looking for some kind of upgradation, some kind of renovation in the houses. This is a very commonly thought around process. I think in all of us, between all of us, or between our peers, family members, everybody, in what wherever they are living, in whichever houses they are looking living, they're trying for some kind of improvement in their housing. There are many reasons to it. I believe one of the reason is the quality of infrastructure is also not as persistent or as strong as it used to be in the earlier eras. That time it was not so. The other reason is definitely the lifestyle and the change in the economies. We are better positioned now to upgrade our lifestyles more easier than the generation before, maybe our parents or our grandfathers. And there's also the peer pressure around. So there are several factors, but definitely this is a very thought about discussed topic, very well selected topic. I would say Toastmaster and Schumann. My personal perspective was thinking around what could be the possible the way I try to look at it. So it's, to me it's really like a jigsaw puzzle. So it's like a jigsaw puzzle with different two set of colors, right? Some set of colors is with you. Some set of cards are with you. Some set of cards is with the contract. It's only if the jigsaw puzzles matches perfectly, you see one picture. The picture which was to be plotted gets pictured. Any piece getting missed, there's a gap in the overall the layout or the outcome. So that is how the interior design also most likely works, that we have a thought process which we want to convey to our the contractor or the interior decorator or the firm which we want to award this work to. And they also have a mindset in which they want to work. They also most of the times try to deliver something which lasting as a and create a value not only for their customers, also for themselves, that they get a word of mouth, more familiarity, and then more the whoever is the customer recommends them to the other places. But generally the gap happens because in the thought process, whatever we try to explain, and whatever the mindset perspective the contractor has, there's some difference remains, and that is why maybe the 100% alignment doesn't happen. But I learned a lot of things to improve this. and maybe definitely I will try to use myself whenever there is an opportunity for adding more interiors or upgrading my home. Overall, I can say, moving ahead on the speech, the very well delivered speech, Toastmaster Ananya. Only I don't find the better analogy, better word than correlating it to like having it's called pani puri in Mumbai. It's a very flavorful speech with sweet, tangy, bitterness, salty, every all flavors, and the usage of words, the figures of speech, very well selected. I congratulate you for having this kind of the command, and try encourage you to use this more often as possible. Toastmaster Disha on the evaluation very point rightly pointed upon at the time juncture nearing to the international contest, using the right context of evaluation, encouraging the speaker to follow this will be helpful for the participation and having maximizing the experience. The table topics, I congratulate Toastmaster Harsh for very well selected and relevant topics to our lifestyle, and also with the going with the theme, going with the of the meeting, and are the participants also the delivered all the table topics. I think quite interestingly, and overall, I see most of the topics were well delivered within the time frame, and were very to the point, were articulated to the point of the exact the questions. I don't want to have it individual performances delivered. And as a grammarian report, I say again, the Toastmaster Ananya is a superstar today. Maximum usage of the best possible words, and especially the metaphors, the figures of speech. I was amazed to see the sitting discomfort to the medical torture device. It was very humorous as well as intriguing. And then similarly, there are too many of such things. I have noted a lot of them, but I think we all have learned the checking out and the dissolve faster than sugar in water. It was very amazing to hear such kind of connotations to a simple lifestyle things we follow, we experience every day, and not major of uh, wrong usage of grammar I could find. So I again, of course, find that some of the good words used by the other Toastmasters also. But overall, the grammarian report as well, the, things were very well in control. So that's it from my side. I encourage more and more more to the steering committee to be try to kind of possible prepare well in advance. Of course, saying is easier, conducting is more difficult. So to see if the not major last minute changes happen. So that's it from my side. Over to you, uh, the the preceding officer.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Ashutosh. I think we all had a very rich and meaningful and happy morning exploring interior decoration, home decor, listening to a fantastic speech by Toastmaster Ananya with a lot of similes and metaphors, and obviously listening to the evaluation, the rich evaluation from all the evaluators. If I have to leave with a last note on decoration, so mine for my future home, if I have to build one, it'll be, as Toastmaster Disha mentioned, coming more from heart. So I think over the process, what happened is, as Toastmaster Ashutosh shared, that it might be due to peer pressure or thinking how the guests will feel about the room. For example, Toastmaster Ashutosh will judge my washroom or judge my living room. So that is how we tend to build our homes. But if I have to build our home for the future, it'll be more heart centric. That what do I feel about a room? What do I feel about building XYZ? And then maybe I'll also have my battles with the contractor that I want this, I want that. That may, I think the designing part itself for that may take an year. Like we were exploring That if I had to take inspiration from monuments, how Taj Mahal or from Humayun's tomb. So maybe for future project, I'll start picking up elements which I'll want, which are to my suiting and not to impress the guests or to impress my peers, or just go by the current standards, or because then it starts becoming homogenized. So the process I'm following currently is homogeneous. I'm picking up best elements of whatever there is in the market industry, just copying pasting. So that'll make it look, uh, at it'll be at parity with what's in the industry or industry or in the market or whatever. But if I have to go beyond it, then it has to come from within, and that's the difficult part of how you can design your home of with things you like, things which make you inspire. Even if Ashutosh has to come and judge and say that what a like bad idea, what an element this is, what a messy life this person has. That's okay. Well, at least it'll be me and and me having a good time sitting and living in a home which is of my desire. Thank you. I hope all of us had a great morning. Over to you, Toastmaster Meng, to conclude the proceedings.
Thanks so much, Toastmaster Anshuman. I think it was a very interesting topic that you picked up on home decor, and as and more the thing I think about it, feel on this topic is the home has to be uh, comforting, something. It has to be energy efficient as a more sustainable, uh, have more greenery or terracotta with water elements, so there's natural air ventilation, than dependence on making glass houses that we are doing these days. They look fantastic, the glass roof, the glass windows and facade, they look fantastic, but it's a French door, right? It suits the weather conditions in France where they need more sunlight. The heat is not sufficient, but it acts like trapping the air and then putting on air conditioning all the time. So it's not a sustainable way, and it turns out to be more expensive. Home is more where every member of the family have their space, their comfort, and it can't be your comfort, somebody else's discomfort as well. Um, Minimalistic, less use of flowers and petals all around, I think will go. The simpler, the richer and nicher look it looks. I've realized over time. And for every renovation, you have to have an objective. For example, for me, in the basement, the objective was get rid of the seepages, and I worked on it like instead of an allopathic but a homeopathic treatment. Find the root cause from where is the seepage coming in and get that treated. Find all sources and not just putting in PVC sheets and shutting it off from and let it decay the house. So, with this, I think we'll conclude today's meeting. But before we sign off, I'd like to hear on Toastmaster Ananya on how was her experience with the Bright Beginning Toastmasters Club, and did she get what she was looking for?
Thank you, Toastmaster Mayank, and thank you all the Toastmasters. My experience was really good. I mean, you can tell that the club is 200 meetings old. The swiftness with which everybody took on roles and executed it so well without too many filler words was fabulous. Everybody is very well versed with what a certain role um, entails. And even when Toastmaster Disha was evaluating my speech, there was a particular structure to it. She knew, okay, 50% is this, 30% is this, 20% is this. It was a very straightforward and precise evaluation. Like when, so for the Bechtel Club, be it Toastmasters Club, we are what, maybe 50 meetings old, and there is still a bit of emotion involved when people are evaluating speeches. It's like, I felt this and you could have done this. It's not like not very structured yet. So thank you so much, and great meeting. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ananya, and we're glad.